Over the last few days, my family and I got to experience a number of wonderful things down south near Alamogordo. The first was White Sands, which was something we haven't visited for nearly 10 years. And White Sands is quite extraordinary. It was started to be formed about 280 million years ago from gypsum. And White Sands holds two different perspectives, especially if you have kids. Because if you have kids, you bring sleds and you slide down the sand dunes, and it's a lot of fun. It's interactive. But there's something also very calm, very peaceful, very expansive about White Sands. Also, potentially very dangerous, of course. But White Sands is a geological feature that took time, took an insane amount of time to form, an incomprehensible amount of time, hundreds of millions of years. And so when you stand on the White Sands and you see this vast, vast rolling expanse of white and nothing else, there's a calm as well that can come over you, a peace, a being in contact with something slow, something really quite extraordinary and profound in a calming, peaceful way. About an hour north of Alamogordo, there's the Malpais Nature Trail, otherwise known as the Valley of Fire. This was formed somewhere between 2,000 and 5,000 years ago, when the Earth's crust was so thin at that point that lava just burst forth and cooled and cracked and created these extraordinary geological features, angry geological features that jut out from the landscape. They contrast with the whiteness of White Sands with the black of cooled, cracked lava. Plants grow through the lava flows in a way that is almost defiant. And the lava itself, you can see, has this angry, this passion to it. This fire, of course, to it, that burns and cooled. And so, where White Sands slowly developed over time, the Malpais Nature Trail, or the Valley of Fire, arose aggressively, quickly, angrily, and then froze. And for me, being able to experience both on a family vacation away was really very powerful. And it reminds me of reflecting on what kind of person do we want to be? Do we want to be the kind of person who is remembered as being slow, gentle, careful, deliberate? Or do we want to be the kind of person who's remembered as excited, passionate, furious? There's probably good cause for both at different times. Some people lean more towards one than the other. And maybe there's something to be said for the Valley of Fire being younger, the fire, the burning passion of youth, as opposed to the much older, slower, deliberate White Sands. But I do recommend, for those who are able, I do recommend going to see both. Because they remind us, I think, of the importance of what is our effect on the world. Both White Sands and the Valley of Fire have left a permanent effect on the world. One through slow, deliberate change, and one through immediate action. And so what is our impact? How do we change the world? How do we leave our mark on the world? One is not right and one is wrong. Both are there. Both are appropriate at different times. And so I encourage you to consider this Shabbat, as Shabbat is essentially that moment of calm, the White Sands almost of the week, whereas the rest of the week is busy, furious, excited, energetic, like the Valley of Fire. I encourage you this Shabbat to think even about next week. And will it be excitable like the lava flow? Will it be calm like White Sands? and who will you be next week as well? I will not be in services for this evening. It's part of my spring break, but I will be here tomorrow. It's Samara's bat mitzvah, and she has a fascinating perspective on our Torah portion. I really encourage you to come and hear that. I also want to add thanks to those who heard my appeal last week and who helped to volunteer at Pete's Place. We're still struggling to get some food together for the final few days. If you're able to help, please go and sign up. It's really important to help protect those who are in need, who need food, ultimately, especially on their weekend for those who celebrate Easter. And given that it's now Easter in the Christian calendar, that means it's around time for Pesach for us. We have an extra month this year, and so the second month of Adar, and so our festivals are a little later this year. But Pesach is coming up, and we're going to be talking about that more, particularly our communal Seder in the next couple of weeks. And we'll be sharing things that we can reflect on, and things that we can do, and ways to celebrate, and ways you can even come and get matzah from our community. And finally, I want to mention the spring appeal. You're going to be getting a letter in the mail in the next few days. We really need help. We need help financially. This is always the time where things get a bit tight, and things are extremely tight this year. And so I encourage you, when you see a letter from TBS, please open it, please have a look, and please give something to help us keep the lights on, to help us keep all the wonderful things that we're doing going, so that we can continue, I think, to be that burning passion, that lava, that excitable community that continually adds to the world around us, and also so that we can continue to provide a place of calm like the White Sands Desert as well. I wish you Shabbat Shalom.